What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection Landspeeder and Bantha packs. So these are both pretty cool. Not too long ago, I did the Mos Eisley Street diorama, or whatever the thing is that they released. So since I got that, I've decided to buy stuff related to Mos Eisley to go along with it. So I thought, of course, the Landspeeder would go perfect with it, have that like sort of driving by, and could have the Bantha there in the background, like maybe the Tusken Raiders have come into Mos Eisley and are doing some trading or something like that. So we get a Bantha, and of course, both of these come with figures. So the Landspeeder will come with Luke, so we have like the farm boy Luke with all his accessories, as well as the Tusken Raiders. We see it up there, so we have nice retro carded figures for both of those as well. So it's nice to get both these sets. So the Landspeeder's cool. Now we did have a Landspeeder growing up that I played with, like it was the one that came out in like the 90s or whatever with the Power of the Force or whatever it was back then. So it's cool to get a newer, updated version of the Landspeeder. And then I've never had a Bantha before, but I always wanted to like what are called the vintage collection size Banthas and stuff, just because they have their real fur and everything, and I always thought they'd be cool. But just to show you the box design, so there's Luke, of course, talking with a stormtrooper there. We get what's going to come in the box, so we get the Landspeeder and Luke there with all his accessories, and we can spin around and see they're sort of in the streets of Mos Eisley there being stopped by all the stormtroopers. So I always loved like this artwork. Has Kenner on, of course, representing the old like Kenner artwork and design that the old figures had. So there's the Landspeeder, and then the Bantha, which again looks cool. Again comes with that Tusken Raider, so we have the Bantha and the Tusken Raider there. We get the top showing both of those, so kind of posed up designs there, and then just the exact same picture on the back, but there's some different shots of the sign stuff. So definitely more excited for the Bantha, just because like I said, some completely new, and seeing all that fur and everything will be pretty awesome. But I am excited for both, and of course we'll add them to the Mos Eisley Street scene. So let me get both these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we'll go and start with Luke and the Landspeeder, starting with the Landspeeder first. It's an X-34 Landspeeder that is powered by a repulsor lift engine with 3 thrust turbines. It can hover up to a meter off the ground to cross harsh terrain, and Luke sold it for 2,000 credits in Mos Eisley. So it looks pretty good here, nice design for this. Now when I was growing up, I had a toy of this, so I played with it a lot as a kid, so like having this now again was bringing back the memories of playing with that. Of course it was the older ones from like the mid-90s, whatever it was. So this looks pretty cool, has a lot of similarities to that one as well. Has the 3 engines on the back. Love how it has the one here that's sort of like damaged and with the exposed piece on it, the damage all over the front. So it's probably been like, of course, have a lot of damage of going over the terrain and stuff with like wind and sand and everything, plus damage of like hitting stuff. So we get that damage there in the front with some of the paint scraped off, showing some of the silver there. We get the wheels on the bottom, so that keeps it up off the ground, so it kind of like hovers and the wheels are sort of bouncy, so as you drive around, if you like drove over stuff, it kind of bounce along with it. And then we get the nice visor here in the front, so nice plastic cover there to protect the people inside. We get the front here, it has this little, I always think of it like a radar dish that sort of spins around, but it'll lift up here as well to see the engine inside, so we get that repulsor lift engine. So that's really cool. Nice details and everything running all through there. Shows a lot of nice details for that. Then we get the seats, so we get the cockpit area. So we get a seat with the steering wheel. Nice like shifter here that of course will have a function. Nice sort of control panel with all sorts of buttons. So we can put 2 people inside that. And of course a little open section back here you can store stuff in, or it can be for like when C-3PO puts his legs back down in there to have another person riding along. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, those engines on the back there as well, just to see what it looks like from the back. So pretty nice design, everything, you know, looks just like Luke's Landspeeder. Never really that super interesting, but it was kind of an iconic vehicle from the movie. Now I said the shifter does have some, so you can move the shifter here, so as you move it back, the wheels go completely in, so now it just sits completely on the ground. But if you want to have the wheels out, you just move it back forward and the wheels pop back out. And so like I said, now it's kind of there and sort of bouncy and stuff, and it has the clear wheel, so it helps hide it so you don't really see it too well. So very nice for the Landspeeder there. But then of course we also get Luke to go along with it, so we get Farm Boy Luke, which looks good. And one thing I noticed with like especially the more recent vintage collection figures like this is that they're pretty much just scaled down versions of the Black Series. They share all the same articulation and everything, but looks good with our Luke there. Of course it's more of the cartoony looking Luke, but I think it looks good, you know, definitely recognizable as Luke Skywalker, and his Farm Boy outfit, so has the white like tunic piece on top there with the belt around the waist that nice has little holes and stuff, so we can put all sorts of things on that gadget wise. Then we get a little fabric material here, so it helps with like sitting down and stuff. You don't have the plastic in the way. Then get into more cream color pants and the boots as well. Of course they're all dirty with sand and everything, so it's nice that they kind of dirtied those up there. Now for movements, the head will twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far, so just a little nodding movement. Shoulders will come up to 90, actually over 90. You can get a pretty high there and rotate around. Single elbow joint to 90 with rotation, and then the wrist will twist all the way around, and as you see it has a hinge joint there, so you get the hinge up and down with the hand. He has a little bit of a crunch at the waist, so it'll crunch back and forth and will rotate around there. Then the hips will come up to 90 and out to the side that far. Thigh twist all the way around, down the single knee joint that bends back to 90 with rotation, and the foot will rock back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty decent overall. You know, small little figure like this doesn't have like the greatest movements ever or anything, but it is nice just to have his design like this. So pretty nice for the Luke design overall there. Then he comes with a number of accessories. So this is, like I said, the Farm Boy Luke comes with the Landspeeder, and just like the Black Series that came with the Landspeeder, we get all sorts of extra accessories. So we get like his poncho. So this is pretty nice. So got the nice poncho design, and I love how it has little sewn pieces here. So his arms go through here and makes it just fit on him a little more with a hole in the top to put it around his head. So there's what it looks like with the ponchos. Like I said, the way they have it designed with the sewn and stuff, and it just fits really nice. You know, looks like the poncho does on him. So that is really nice for that design. We also get his bucket hat that he wears. Again, this is mostly from like a deleted scene, I believe it is. So it has like the bucket hat with the goggles on it as well. So we get that. So there we get like the Farm Boy Luke look, especially like I said, from that deleted scene and stuff. So that's always pretty nice. Wanted to show that off before we put all the other accessories on him. Then we get some accessories that can go around his belt. So I think he has 3 spots in total. So one on the side here, one in the front center, and one there. I think that's it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So in the different holes, we get a pocket. So we get a nice little like bigger pocket design, you know, to store whatever it is in there. So we can like pop that on his belt. We also get the binoculars. So like the macro binoculars. That's pretty nice to see him use those in the movies. And put them on maybe this side. So just stick those right in there. And then in the front, obviously we could stick like the lightsaber hilt that he comes with. But we also get the little tiny like communicator or whatever, so we can try and pop this in. So you can pop that right on the front of his belt there, so you can have those 3 extra accessories as well on him there, so that can be nice and stored away. Of course, for putting him in the Landspeeder, these will probably fall off, so go ahead and just take them all off. But it's just nice to get those little accessories, of course, little tiny accessories, so you can easily lose those, so you just have to be real careful with that. He also comes with the 6.2 Ang-2 hunting rifle. It's a big rifle I think we see in the movie as well. So a nice big rifle. You obviously try and put that in his hand. I don't know how he'd really even hold that with the way it's designed. Just probably have to hold on to it there and stuff, or just stand it on the ground, have him hold it in his hand. But one thing that's cool is that there's a place to store on the Landspeeder. So back here there is a clip off to the side, so you can easily just sort of clip this on the side there, so it's a nice storage spot there on the Landspeeder. So nice to have that. And finally, he comes with the lightsaber, of course, that Obi-Wan gives him. So you get the nice Anakin lightsaber there with the blue blade, and we get the hilt as well. So obviously we take that, stick that on the front of his belt if one, or put this into his hand. So there's Luke with the lightsaber, so that is pretty cool. It looks pretty nice. Of course, the lightsaber looks giant compared to his body with the small vintage collection here, but still nice design. So there's Luke with the lightsaber, so that is really cool. But of course, the whole point of this set was him coming with the Landspeeder, so we can put him in the Landspeeder. So obviously get him in a sitting position and get him down inside here. So there's Luke in the Landspeeder. It's hard to really get his hands to reach forward there, especially with this glass design. I would have thought this would have come out. I don't remember it showing if like on the box it came out or anything. You would think it'd probably just pop out, so you could try to get his hands on the steering column and stuff there, and so he can be able to drive that around. But now that we have Luke, we can add the other characters. So we got Obi-Wan as well, which actually just came in at the time of this recording, just came in the night before. So it came in perfect timing just for this. We put Obi-Wan here in the passenger seat. So of course with the robes and everything, makes it kind of hard to get him to fit in there, but you can have that. And then I got a C-3PO as well, but unfortunately as I got him, his leg broke off. So I found an older C-3PO that has legs that would allow him to sit, and as I was bending the knees, one of them just completely broke off. So unfortunately he's missing a leg now, but we can try and sit him in the back here. Of course he's bumping into the thruster thing here in the back, so you obviously have to sit him kind of off to the side weird, and he doesn't really sit the best, but you can have him sitting on the back there just right. And like I said, with this design, doesn't really sit or work out the best, but I'm trying to get him in there. But just add a C-3PO sitting on the back, and of course need R2-D2 as well, but I don't know if I have a good R2-D2 for this, so I'll have to be on the lookout for one there. And a new C-3PO now as well. But there we get Luke and the Obi-Wan and stuff in the Landspeeder like we see in the movie, so riding into Mos Eisley and everything to go along with our set we'll have here at the end. So just pretty nice overall for the Landspeeder and Luke Skywalker. And then we also get the Bantha with the Tusken Raider. So, of course, the Banthas are large, hairy mammals that are native to Tatooine. They have brown, shaggy fur with spiral horns that grow from their skull, as well as a wide mouth and large tail that drags the ground. And the female Banthas are known for producing the blue milk, but they are peaceful omnivores that live in herds and are used by the Tusken Raiders as mounts and companionship. So, pretty cool for the Bantha here. Like I said, I've seen them for years, like, ever since, like, the ones in the 90s where they had the longer fur and everything like this. So, I've always wanted one, but never never, picked one up. But now since they just released one part of the Vintage Collection here, I decided to go ahead and get it, which is pretty nice. But of course, you have to deal with the fur and stuff and get it to look good and everything. It's not the best there, but still pretty cool. We'll go ahead and move our Tusken Raider to the side for now to see our Bantha, which, like I said, looks pretty nice with all the fur and everything. Especially if we move the fur here that's in front of the face, we can lift it up to see its eyes and everything. So with the eyes and nose, of course, the big mouth that it mentioned. So it has this really big mouth, so you get the big teeth and everything in there. Even some of the fur, so it has like little mustache designs here off the side of its mouth with the fur everywhere else. Get the big spiral horns, as I mentioned, so almost like big ram horns sticking off the side of its head. Has a nice saddle on the back here. Of course, it feels kind of loose with the toy here, even though I like even tightened it up from how it came out of the box, but it's still pretty loose. It moves around and stuff, like, the seams with all the fur, hard to really pick it up. This would be a nice place to pick it up. As you see, it's kind of loose and sort of flopping around, so I wish it would tighten up a little bit more there. But nice saddle design with all the layers like furs and pelts and everything. Of course, the saddle up there, all sorts of bags. This one, just the way it's shaped, reminds me like it's a person hanging upside down in a bag, like a dead body or something. We get the feet down on the ground, so there you can see the feet design, which I believe in the movie they used elephants and put costumes on them like this, so it could just be resembling the elephant feet that they had. But we get, of course, the 4 feet there for it, and the nice long tail that hangs down off the back and drags the ground, so as it moves side to side, it sort of wipes away its tracks and stuff, which is pretty cool. So overall, really nice design. Like I said, just dealing with all the fur is kind of an issue, because like right out of the box it was all messy, like, so more like this design where it looks all like ratty and stuff. And I got a little comb and tried combing it out and everything, but made it look a little bit nicer at least, but still not the best. And of course, playing with it or doing anything with it, it'll start to mess it up over time. Now for movements, it does have a little bit of movement, so the head does move. It's like hard to really figure out. I thought it moved up and down. It's just like barely moving there, and I twist some side to side, at least to one side it twists there, seems like. So you get a little bit of movement there, and then we do get the feet that move back and forth, so they just move back and forth. No real additional movements to them at all. Actually, it does feel like there's a bit of a twist, down at the actual feet, so again, hard to really tell what's going on. I love how it almost has like a stuffed animal fur here right around the bottom of the feet, but the feet actually do have like a bend back and forth and twist side to side in them as well, so you can actually get a little bit more movements than I thought. Same with the back legs, so move back and forth, and it feels like the lower just little feet section there do have some movements. And then the tail does move side to side, so it's kind of like a hinge side to side, so not like shake side to side, so hinges back and forth there, like swings back and forth. I guess I don't really know how to say it, but just a little bit of movement. So overall, not too bad. I thought I'd maybe have a little bit more movements going on with it, but not bad at all. Just need a Bantha to really stand there. Don't really need it to do a whole lot or anything. Just stand there to be with the Tusken Raiders. Oh, and of course, as I showed, the mouth is open and closed, so you get that additional movement as well. So overall, pretty fun design for the Bantha. Like I said, pretty crazy design for the creatures themselves as they are in the movie, but translated pretty nicely here into a toy design with their all furry body. So we get that Bantha, and of course comes with a Tusken Raider as well. Just pretty simple design, part of the indigenous species of Tatooine. So we get the Tusken Raider design. Looks pretty good. Looks just like the Tusken Raiders, and I love how he's got the bandoliers, all the like darker tan cream color outfits, all the wrappings around the head with the breather and little eye holes and stuff, and then the longer sleeves come down completely covering up, no skin exposed at all, belt around the waist, and has some fabric material here as like a skirting or dress piece coming down, and we get the leggings down to the boots and all that. So pretty nice. Something's a little bit more simpler than the Luke was, but it's just still just fine, has pretty much the same movements. So the head will twist all the way around, look down and up that far, so a little bit of nodding. Shoulders can come up again really high there, and then rotate all the way around. The single elbow joint that bends to 90 with rotation. Now the wrist only twists around, so it's in this position permanently, like it keeps falling out as well. So no additional movements with that, just twisting around, which is unfortunate. Again, it'll twist at the waist, and then the hip should come up. So come up there towards 90, out to the side, thigh twist around. The single knee joint bends back that far with rotation, and then down to the foot that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So it helps with movement stuff. Like I said, the only thing that's really weird is the hands, how they don't have like any hinges or anything in them, so it's just in the position that they come with there. And for weapon, it comes with the gaffy stick, which is pretty classic for them to always need a gaffy stick. So there it comes with the gaffy stick as well as their cycler rifle. So we get this nice rifle we see them use sometimes in the movies and stuff, so we get that. So now that we have the Tusken Raider, we can put it up on the Bantha. So there we have our Tusken Raider up on the Bantha. Now unfortunately it doesn't have like any like handles, straps or anything to be able to hold on to, so it doesn't really have anything you can like put into his hand or anything like that, unfortunately. So you just got to kind of sit him up there, and not really sure how you're supposed to sit him, but just have him like riding a horse and stuff. So you can have the Tusken Raider sitting up there on the Bantha, which is pretty nice. So overall, nice design for that. Like I said, definitely love the Bantha, just having it with all the fur and everything. Like I said, can definitely become a mess though if you're not careful with it. Can easily get the fur everywhere. Of course, fur's falling off of it and all that as well, but looks really really nice the way it is there. And of course, now that we have the Bantha, we can bring it in with our Landspeeder and put it in our Mos Eisley street scene. So here we have our Streets of Mos Eisley set that I did a video on not too long ago. You probably saw it on the channel. So like I said, we can then bring in our characters. So we have the Bantha. I guess since the Bantha is so big, it'd probably make more sense that like it looks like it's, you know, coming into the town or something. So I have it sitting back here in the back like it's, you know, outside the little town maybe. And then can have Luke maybe selling his Landspeeder. So have it driven here in the town. Of course, need like Jawas and stuff there to put with it. So again, it's hard to really fit it all into a scene here and have it all work out. Obviously, if you had like a shelf and could make more of a scene out of it and everything, but just have them riding through town on the Landspeeder as well would work out there pretty well. So again, just nice adding this additional stuff into the scene. Like I said, if I could put this all on the shelf and have it all go together with a nice Mos Eisley scene. Of course, they released that Cantina, part of the HasLab. I did not get it because way too much money, but would have been cool to have to add with this as well. So just have more additional parts of Tatooine and everything. But just like I said, trying to make a little street scene with those more cheaper sets that they're releasing here. So overall, pretty cool to get Luke with the Landspeeder as well as the Tusken Raider with the Bantha there in the back. So pretty nice sets to add to Mos Eisley. So let me know what you thought of these two figure sets down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know what that like and hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.